Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the WCS Season 1 Finals here in Korea. Day 2. We are going into the round of 8 today. I'm Calder, and with me is Atos.
I am so happy that I am not casting alone today, Caldor. Here we are, day number 2, the round of 8, and we have some insanely good matches going on today. We have first Soulkey against RorO. The last 2 GSL champions are gonna go head-to-head. Oh my god, that's so good.
Yeah.
And then we have a PvP, which I didn't think we were going to see any PvPs in this tournament. I thought maybe one in that double Protoss group. But here we are again, a PvP.
Yeah.
We're getting a Protoss through to that round of 4. And 2 great Protosses indeed. Alicia, looking for his 5th second-place finish. And SOS, of course, looking for another top 4.
Alicia already being cursed here by Atos, but as he could. You were really excited to see that we actually have the PvP today.
Yeah, I saw the bracket, but I wasn't sure which ones we were casting this morning. And I was like, Caldor, tell me we have the ZVZ and the PvP. Because I actually, 2 GSL champions fighting. It's not that I don't like TVT, but I love PvP, and I want so bad to see Soulkey RorO.
I actually tried to troll him a little bit, and then I saw this sad look on his face, and I was like, okay, I can't break it to my heart. I'm going to break his heart here if I don't reveal to him right now that we have the Protoss Mirror matchup today. He was really happy to see that was actually going on. So we have a Zerg versus Zerg and a Protoss versus Protoss for you guys today. Our starting matches, as you can see here, the total prize money here for the season final, $150,000.
That is a lot of money.
Oh yeah, it definitely is.
Why am I casting? I feel like I gotta get back in that plan, man. 40K for first place, and that's how I know MVP is gonna win the tournament.
Well, you know what?
What?
Korea qualifier is up soon, and you can participate.
Are they?
Yeah, you can actually
do you
go
actually know
straight
the
into
dates?
Korea. Yeah, of course, the 26th.
The 26th? Am I? Yeah, I'm not going.
You're
anywhere.
here.
Sick. I'm playing. All right. I don't think I'll make it through, though. All right. Anyways, let's take a look at the groups and who got out. Yesterday, I went ahead and casted the Group A, and Soulkey and Alive got out, a couple Korean players. And then, Caldor, you were casting Group B. How'd that go?
Oh, that was actually a really intense group. I love those matches. MVP really being on a roll, but Alicia, he took the group, and it was quite amazing to see him perform that well. We have him today, of course, up against SOS, one of the players that came out of Group C, who you casted with a bit of a surprise, I'd say.
Yeah, 4GG getting first place. I have to say, Hero really underperformed. It was not his best day. It was not his best play, and he showed it. He got 3rd place. Didn't really play like a hero I'm used to, man.
I was really amazed to see that 4GG was able to take the group. If you would have asked me before the tournament who's going out of this group, the last name I would have mentioned was 4GG.
Well, how about that Group B, huh? I mean Group D, the Innovation and Innovation RorO. Were you any surprised on that? Innovation
against the rest of the world, against the rest of the Zergs. It was actually really amazing to see him perform there, and he did a good job. Took, of course, the first place, as you would expect. Yeah, he won all his matches. No, actually, he lost one of the games. He lost one of the games in his second best of 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that was against RorO, right? Exactly.
Yeah,
and
that makes sense. Well, that's pretty exciting. Let's take a look at this bracket, guys. This morning, Caldor and I will be casting Soulkey against RorO and Alicia versus SOS. Then later on tonight, it'll be Wolf and Caldor doing 4GG versus MVP. Whoa, that's a nice one.
Yeah.
And Innovation versus Alive. Oh, I feel bad for Alive, man. When he played against Soulkey, you could see the difference in level, even though Alive is a great player.
Yeah.
Soulkey ate him like he was a bronzy, and I feel like Innovation may possibly do the same here.
Yeah, right now Innovation really looks on a roll. I mean, he played so well yesterday in a Terran versus Alive. I think he's a huge favorite here. I'm personally really excited to see LGIM Jürgen up against 4GG. That's going to be a good one. And especially since 4GG seems to excel on the TVT. MEP played really well against Ryang yesterday too, but I feel this is one of the closest matches that we are going to have.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty darn good one, but to be honest, the matches today, very hard to predict for me.
Yeah.
Alicia and SOS both very solid in PvP, and Soulkey RorO, I mean, they are the last 2 GSL champions. As you said, RorO even took a game off Innovation yesterday. So these guys are like very similar level Zergs.
Oh, that's definitely true, especially in this matchup. You know, I was focusing a little bit in the past on the ZVZ of RorO, and I looked at his matchups, and his history is just so incredible in Heart of the Swarm. But then I looked at Soulkey, and both of them, they excel so much in the Zerg versus Zerg. It's really hard to predict who's going to take it. RorO, of course, with all those games that he also had in Wings of Liberty, where he took the championship against Symbol. But now we have Soulkey being on such a roll, and the guy is on the highest level right now. He is our current champion. This is going to be a really tough battle between the two of them.
Yeah, but don't forget RorO, of course, 2 great seasons in a row. But Soulkey really has been having a lot of great seasons as well. I mean, these two, in my opinion, 2 of the top 3 Zergs with life right now. So that is going to be an absolute treat. And I love that it's actually a best of 5. Because, you know, when it's a best of 3, you sometimes just get like, oh, there was like a Baneling that went off lucky that one game, and here we are.
That sometimes happens. I mean, yesterday, for example, we had a game where Revival played, and in one of the first matches that we saw, Revival tried to just play a little bit sneaky, went for a 9 pull, tried to make that happen, didn't work out, but that was one of those straight-up games. You roll the dice, it doesn't work, your opponent reacts accordingly, and you lose the game right away. And in a best of 3, that already puts you so far behind. But in a best of 5, you can always bounce back.
Revival played against RorO in that final match, right?
Yeah.
Okay, how was that?
Dude, I was getting one heart attack after another. Game 2 was already intense, but when they went into the 3rd map, that was so close. It was unbelievable. Yeah, it definitely was. Game 2 was really exciting. We had a match on Neoplanet S, and Revival had the sickest lead ever. 2-2 Roaches against 1-1 Roaches, and we're looking at the game. We were comparing Roach numbers, economy. Revival had in economy, had the better upgrades, had the same Roach numbers, and then RorO's like, okay, I'm going to attack right now. We're like, guys,
and
that's going to be it. And suddenly RorO takes engagement after engagement and comes back into the series, being behind in upgrades for 10 minutes straight. Revival wins it in the end and brings it to the 3rd match, but it was so close, and I completely fell apart. There was like, oh my god, he can actually do that.
Would you say that like Revival was in control of the game?
To a certain extent, yeah. I think he choked a little bit at the end. It looked really interesting that RorO shouldn't have had a chance to come back into the series, but he really took down the 3rd base of Revival even, and it was so close. Revival barely hanging on, and then the end, the upgrades really came through for him, and he was able to win it. But it was just so close, and the 3rd game was even more intense than that. So it was a little bit sad for Revival.
So he kind of Revival lost control there?
Yeah, I feel in the end it was a bit of the lack of experience compared to RorO in such a situation. Revival played well, but RorO was just better.
Sick. Well, I am so looking forward to this first CVZ. Our first map is actually going to be Belshire Vestige. Now, of course, it's a mirror matchup, so there's not like a big balance differential in the maps, but they do definitely play differently. And this one, you know, the hatchery kind of blocks the ramp pretty well. It's pretty easy to defend with spine crawlers, so Ling Baneling aggression isn't going to be quite as powerful here as, let's say, like Aklon Wastes. So could be a little bit of a longer game.
Yeah, we have seen very different games yesterday. We had a couple of ZVZs on this map yesterday, and a lot of those started with an early pool, but we also saw drawn-out matches that went into the late game. And Mutalisk is still something that is being used here. If it comes to the Mutalisk war, then of course we have this battle between the 3rd bases. Everyone wants to get on his 5th and 6th gas. But now with the changes to the Spore Crawlers, actually a lot of different strategies have been starting to evolve.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot more than just Mutaplay. In fact, it feels a little bit more like the end of Wings of Liberty, where you might get a Muta opening, but the other side's probably going to be like a Roach opening. So it's kind of cool.
We had Ultralisk versus Swarmhost yesterday. It was pretty amazing.
That's awesome.
Loving his style, going straight into Hive, getting those Ultralisks out. And then when he was playing against RorO on Neoplanet as RorO suddenly with the Swarmhost, and it was just so cool to see. Dimaga's ultimate goal was to go into Broodlords combined with those few units that he had at the ground, the Ultralisks. And that really worked well in one of the games.
Yeah.
But the Swarm hosts alone, Jesus, they do so much damage. They snipe the Ultralisk. It's crazy.
Wow. I really want to see some Swarm host games in ZVZ. I've seen like none. I've been kind of thinking about it a lot. You know, I've been waiting for it to evolve to the point where there's some sort of Swarm host strategy, because I want Zerg to feel what it's like to play against those cloaked, underground, longer-range Broodlords themselves.
You know, I remember when you talked on your show with the Cats about it, and the comparison between the Swarm hosts and the Broodlords, and Cats just starting to laugh at me. Like, it's actually pretty silly, because the Locusts and the Broodlings work really well against each other and cancel each other out. So you could just have this long stalemate in the middle of the map.
It reminds me of Dragon Ball Z fights, like Gohan versus Cell or something, where they just stand there with the broken arm, like with the Kamehameha for like 3 episodes straight.
Oh, I love that they actually went into, I think it was Dragon Ball Z Kai, where it's a little bit like, they shortened everything. So right now you don't have to wait 3 episodes anymore for the battle to commence. You only have
I don't know. I kind of like that. That like taught me patience as a child, waiting each week, and I'm like, this week they're finally going to fight, and it's just another charging scene.
I learned patience when I started to watch Naruto, and then suddenly they had those filler seasons, and you always wanted to know how the storyline evolves, and then you were like filler season 1, 2, 3, and it went all up to 50.
I heard that's because they were waiting for the manga to actually get there.
I think
because
they probably
the TV
did.
show was going quicker or something like that?
At some point, I just found out that you could look up the seasons on Wikipedia, and you just skipped the seasons where they had the filler episodes, so that was a lot better than... And yeah, if you are hardcore, you were, of course, watching all the games. But one of my favorite shows still. I really like it.
Huh. I watched it a lot, but I stopped. Here we have, finally, the players look like they're ready. This is Soulkey. He is our reigning champion. Some might consider him the favorite for the tournament. I think that he has a very good shot at getting through, but the thing is, I look at everyone that's left, and I could see a lot of these players ending up winning, right? I could see Innovation winning, I could see Soulkey winning, I could see RorO winning. I could see SOS or Alicia winning, but not as much. And maybe MVP winning. Yeah,
there are so many good players now, and with the situation that we have in the bracket, we are guaranteed to have a Terran player in the final. So it's either going to be a TVZ or a TVP. Really cool, especially going now, of course, into the semifinals and then tomorrow. Here we have player number 2 for Samsung Khan. We have RorO. Amazing games yesterday that we saw out of him. Took down Rival with a 2-1, won against Dimaga as well without dropping a single map. Soulkey, of course, also playing several CVZs, especially the series against TLO that you cast today, I think.
Yeah.
How did that go? Did the foreigners have a chance in the group?
Well, you know what? It was a little bit sad because TLO did very well in one game against Live, and then the other not as much. Like he had chances at times.
I actually had a little bit of a Twitter discussion yesterday with TLO, and I want to hear your take on this. Who do you think is the most successful out of the 3 foreigners? TLO because he placed highest in the group, or is it Dimaga because he actually is the only one who won a map against the Korean? Toughie, I know. But
ooh, that is a toughie. But you know what? Stefano's better than a lot of Koreans, so I have to give it to TLO.
Okay.
But I see both arguments. I see both arguments actually. But like I can't discount beating Stefano just because he happens to not have been born in Korean by Korean parents.
TLO actually went all German on me and was like, well, you know, only facts count. Everything else is just bias. Like, that is such a German attitude. I can't get behind that.
Well, lucky for you, you're Austrian, so we can just skip right past there.
Hey, take it easy. I mean, the only thing that beats that is calling me French.
Well, listen, you told me you spent a lot of time in Austria, so...
Oh yeah, I actually did.
Oh.
A couple of months at least.
All right, so we're going to get this started pretty quick, guys. I hope that you're enjoying this WCS season finals. Please go ahead, get on Twitter, get on Reddit, whatever. Talk about WCS, get people watching, because these are some great matches this morning.
Hashtag WCS, let everyone know that these games are now finally live. We have our first ZVZ of the day. It's going to be RorO, and he's up against Soulkey here. Best of 5. Map number 1 is Belgian Vestige, and we're going to jump right into the map. RorO versus Soulkey. Who's going to take it? Both of them excelling at the ZVZ, but only one can advance to the semifinals. Starting to the bottom right of the map, we have our first Zerg player. It is
Wongjin Star Soulkey from Korea.
Aren't those intros awesome, by the way? From Korea,
yeah,
from America,
I feel like I have to explain every time they say from America.
Yeah, me too. It's actually the same thing we did that the entire time yesterday. And the opponent of Soulkey, starting to the top left of Belgian Vestige. It is also from Korea.
Samsung Can RorO from Korea.
Only Korean players left in the tournament. 3 foreigners were able to qualify for the season finals. TLO, Stefano, and Dimaga, all 3 Zergs, and they are out of the tournament already.
And actually, to go back to this point real quick, Dimaga beat the player who didn't make it out of the group?
Yeah, Dimaga actually took a game against...
Revival, right?
I actually think he took a game against RorO. Let me just double check. We had a lot of games yesterday, and I'm not 100% sure. The Maga won one of the matches against Revival, yes.
Okay.
So Revival
yeah,
not getting...
I have to go with TLO on that one.
Okay.
Just, I keep thinking about it.
Fair enough.
All right.
Faster pool in the game currently for Soulkey. Starts his spawning pool first. So far it looks like RorO is going to start with a hatch first here. We'll get the better opening.
Yeah, you know, as I was mentioning previously, anytime we cast a ZVZ, you know, there's a little tactical wheel in the beginning of the game. Early pool is good against hatch first is good against pool first, and pool first is good against early pool.
It's a game of chicken.
Well, where is the chicken part though? I guess the middle ground is the pool first because it doesn't actually lose at all.
Yeah, the pool first is pool into hatch is probably the safest.
That's the
opening
chicken
that you go
staying
for.
on his side of the road.
Exactly.
And
but if you go for the hatch first, you gamble a little bit. If your opponent starts with an early pool, you're in a really bad spot.
But the early pool is a gamble
defense.
against the pool first. And then in some regards, the pool first is a little bit of a gamble against the hatch first.
Yeah. So the safest what you can do is like the lowest risk opening that you can have is actually going into the pool and then starting with the hatch, which is exactly the opening that we have seen by Soulkey here.
And in fact, you know, it's kind of like rock, paper, scissors in that regard, where the lowest risk opening is rock.
Is that true?
Yeah, rock is the best.
How so?
Well, who opens paper? I mean...
I do sometimes.
Well, see, because you're bad at rock, paper, scissors. We should play sometimes, I'll own you.
You know who's the best at rock, paper, scissors?
Me?
Karmic. By far.
Oh, I don't think so.
Oh,
does he know about
is.
rock?
Dude, he took down ST, he took down everyone. Everyone who dared to play at IEM Katowice, rock, paper, scissors against Karmic, he is gonna beat your ass.
He's lucky I wasn't there, man. I would have thrown rock like 4 times already. Be like, he's not gonna throw rock, and then he brings out scissors and bam, rock.
We should go both to an IEM and I will cast that.
Okay.
I will cast the rock, paper, scissors game between the two of you.
Alright, next IEM I go to, we'll do that.
Looking forward to it. Well, as you can see, things are starting to equalize a little bit between the two of them. We have speed being started for Soulkey as well as for RorO. Samsung Calm player here is the first one to go into the Baneling nest. So at the beginning of the game, we will have the Zerg Banelings once again. Gonna find out if one of the players actually commits to aggression. Denying the scout here with the drones. Really smart move.
Really nice move, and that was something that he just got a little bit lucky on. The drones were actually transferring down and just happened to be there in time. So good catch there by Soulkey, just denying it, those couple of lings. He can't know what's back there now. You know, he was counting on knowing too, whether there's a Baneling Nest, a Roach Warren, maybe a super quick layer, who knows? And
at this point, RorO is actually going to commit to this. He's building a lot of Zerglings right now. He doesn't try to just use the Baneling Nest as his defensive measure, just getting those 2 Banelings that you put on top of the ramp. He is going all out on this. He's building a ton of Zerglings right now. Speed is about to kick in. His Baneling Nest is ready. And let's see if Soulkey is able to hold.
You know, I think he might be able to, unless he just doesn't make lings coming up. Ooh, he did just start 5 drones, but he has a Spine Crawler in the way. His Baneling Nest is about to finish.
Yeah, he saw the Banelings are morphing in right now as we speak. We also have a Spine Crawler halfway done, as you already said. He has the lead in the Harvesters. If he can hold here, he'll be peachy, but those things getting into the main base. The Queen with a clutch hold.
Double Queen block just in the nick of time, and then we have those Banelings coming out and starting to kill off quite a few of the lings.
Yeah,
and
but
it looks like he's pretty much holding this successfully, but already drones coming up from RorO behind.
Yeah, RorO is droning up behind this, and those Banelings all 4 detonating basically on the same set of lings. We have immediately the transition here for Soulkey going straight into the Roach Warren, whereas, of course, the lair tech has been started now for RorO, who tries to get his tech up.
We could end up seeing Soulkey go with some counter-aggression, Roach Baneling style, and if he does that and RorO doesn't have his own Roach Warren, that can get very, very dangerous.
It's something that we see more and more. Players trying to go back into the Roach style that we had in Wings of Liberty, even adding the Hydralisks later on. And if you go into Mutalisks, that is a very dangerous strategy to face, because even if you get your first 5-6 Mutalisks out on the map, it takes so long for them to kill the Roaches that the Roaches could do way too much damage before the Mutalisks finally deal with the threat.
And the thing is, while they are killing those Roaches, it's so easy to start a couple extra Queens, throw up some Spores, and be completely defended.
Yeah.
You can even move a lot of your Overlords out of the way.
Right now, if you go into Mutalisks, usually you will gain the map control, but it's very rarely that you can take down your opponent right away. Something that we haven't seen too much is the third base being taken by Overlords spreading creep, and then Spore Crawlers that have been built earlier just walking over there to save it. Because that's one thing that you want to do. If you have Mutalisks, you have map control, and you are trying to deny that third base that is also important in ZVZ.
Well, here we go. We actually have Soulkey basically going all in here. He's got a ton of Lings in production. He already has a lot of Banes. He has a ton of Roaches as well. Now, all these Banelings being morphed. The thing is, the Roaches will deal with that very easily. Now, RorO does have some counter aggression getting ready, but it's so much smaller than this.
RorO wants to go into the Spire right now. The tech has been started as his own Banelings just streaming into the bottom right. At the same time, Soulkey is attacking, but here come those Banelings for the Samsung Khan player. Immediately, the drones being pulled for Soulkey, doing a good job here with a split, and RorO has a lot of trouble defending at the top left.
Now, if he can pick up those couple really red Banelings, he's going to be in good shape. In the meantime, Soulkey dealing so much damage, but hold on, RorO! Whoa! Insanely good hit.
But not enough. GG being called as Soulkey advances to take down the units at the top left, and Soulkey wins game number 1.
Yeah, that was a really nice counter aggression there, and in fact, it was a little bit kind of like a meta-ish move, a metagaming move for RorO to not make the Roach Warren, because you can expect that to come after you do your own Baneling aggression. It is not the most uncommon thing, but he's thinking, you know what? I think we're both going to go into Ling Bane, go into Layer Tech, and, you know, grab that third base. But that was not Soulkey's plan.
But one of the problems that we really had here was I don't think that RorO identified fast enough what exactly was going on. Because those Banelings at the top left could have saved his ass. And if he is able to defend against the aggression, then he has the Muralisks.
Yeah.
Because he was really lacking time. He already had his Lair Tech up, he had the Spire on the way, and it was nearly completed. So if he builds another Spine Crawler and identifies fast enough what's coming, has the Banelings at the top left, he can defend against the Banes and the Roaches of Soulkey, and then suddenly he has the better tech, gains map control, can take third safely, and take down all the overlords of Soulkey.
It wasn't a bad plan by RorO. You know, he was keeping on the aggression, putting on some pressure with a lot of Banelings and Lings while he was teching and expanding. So he was trying to cover it all with that attack. But the fact that Soulkey was extremely decisive and decided, okay, I'm going to all in against this, you can't do 3 things against an all in. You might be able to get away with 2, but definitely not 3.
Soulkey definitely bit of the better strategy here, and it completely came through for him. He takes the lead in the best of 5 now, and our next map is going to be Daybreak.
All right, Daybreak. Good old map.
Yeah.
Might be the last time we really see this. I don't know if this is going to be in any seasons next time, and I know it's already off the ladder, so this tournament could be its farewell.
Do you remember the end of Wings of Liberty where we had like a gazillion ZVPs, and you basically could cast the first 7 minutes of the ZVP without even looking at the map?
Especially the last 7 minutes of it as well, right? I'm like, all right, now what's going to happen is the Protoss is going to try to get a Warp Prism around somewhere. It's not going to work, and that's going to be it.
You never really knew, would he get that one Archon Toilet or not? So I guess at the end you would have had to jump in for a second at least.
Very true.
Guys, game number 2 is underway. We are jumping right into the match here at the WCS season finals in Korea. We have Soulkey up against RorO, game 2 on Daybreak.